What an introduction, Peter. Thank you so much. You know, I spend my life introducing other people, so it's just so nice to sit back and have somebody else do me for a change.
Fantastic. I mean, even when you go to the supermarket, you must be tempted to say, where is my change?
Oh, well, I think if I went around talking in that voice all the time, I'd have been locked up years ago, Peter, quite frankly.
How did they find you then, Peter, the X Factor?
I found them, really. I was working on a show for Talkback Thames, Fremantle, who are the co-producers of the X Factor on a previous series on another show, and I saw a pilot for X Factor sort of 8 years ago, and I said to the producer, I said, God, that's right up my alley, that show. I'd love to do that, because it's a big, brash pantomime of a show, and I thought, well, you know, I'm the only man that can really do this justice, so I called up Simon's office and I said, you've got to let me do this, and I auditioned with a few other people, and that was 7 years ago, and I'm still doing it, so I must be doing something right.
So did Simon get to, hear you and all the rest of it and give it the final tick in the box?
Oh, yeah, and he still ticks my box every week. He says, I mean, he's always saying, every week it's like, we want it bigger, louder, brasher, brighter, this weekend I'm going to be like that Bond villain, with my veins on my neck bulging and blood oozing from my eyeballs, dripping onto the script, It's just they want it big. Every week it just gets more and more lunatic.
My role isn't anywhere near as important as yours, but I've got a little bit of sympathy with you, I think, because I, at Liverpool matches, announce the teams, and people always say, do you get nervous before you do it? Every single time you get nervous, because you never want to make a mistake. It must be times that by 1,000,000 for you on a Saturday night.
I think I've got it bad. I had Rachel Adedeji, that's the most complicated name I had to say, but you must have an unbelievable number of unbelievably difficult names.
Goodness me. But you must get nervous, though, before a big show.
Yeah, I think it's only natural. Everybody does. I mean, from Simon, even, Dermot, we all feel, particularly this weekend. It's huge. 20 million odd people watching. Why wouldn't you get nervous?
How much
I think it's good to get nervous. I mean, controlled nerves are good because it shows you care, I think, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Otherwise, you just wouldn't give your best.
How much do you have to do then in the lead up to the week? I mean, are you in rehearsals and that kind of thing?
Not really, no. That we leave that to the talent. They need all the rehearsal they can get, of course, and often they don't get that much because they sometimes change their songs, midweek. So they've literally only got a few days to learn a song, which I think is quite terrifying. When you open those doors and they walk out, you've got to know the words, you've got to know the routine, the choreography has all got to be there. It's a huge amount of stress and demand on these contestants, and I think they are all quite remarkable, all four of them.
Do you have much to do with them as people? Do you get to talk to them?
Yes, I like them all very much indeed. They're all really nice and all uniquely talented in so many in varied ways, from One Direction, to Matt, and as you mentioned earlier, Rebecca, who's supremely talented, beautiful voice, and Cher Lloyd, very young, very raw, but still got bags of talent. So I don't know how you can choose between them. It's not just a singing contest, though. I think it's more of it's a talent show with judgment on personality as well. So a lot of the judging is carried out in the media, in the papers, and how people react to you and what people read about you, and all that put together forms your popularity as such.
If one wasn't popular, I wouldn't ask you to name them, but if there was somebody that you didn't like, you could just completely underplay, couldn't you? Next on stage, Billy Jones.
I think it would be pretty apparent if I did that.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, you must be really looking forward to this weekend. It's been an absolute honour to speak to you. Just before you go, the biggest name, the best name you will ever announce, could you please just indulge me for a moment and give it the old Peter Mcdowall?
Of course I can. Okay, here we go. This is just specially for you. I don't do this for everybody, Peter. Well, I do, actually, but just because I'm cheap. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, live on BBC Radio Merseyside, Mr. Peter Mcdowall.